We are here today with big news out of North America. We have Scrimbucks of the current North American meta, as well as information about the top 4 teams in NA last year: Glads, Atlanta, Dallas, and the Shock. First off, the meta. There are 2 prominent metas in Scrim so far, with one being more or less the dominant NA meta last year, with Ryan, Lucio, and Baptiste in there, then either a May Cassidy or Tracer or other hitscan lineup. This is a pretty generic meta, but it hurts my heart as a Shock fan to have a Ryan meta right after losing Super. But this benefits pretty much all of the top 4, but this does hurt like Toronto. I could definitely see Florida and Washington being great in this meta as well for obvious reasons. Then while Collusion Piggy don't have great Rhines, their DPS lines are enough to carry them to a good finish. The other meta is a more divey one that should benefit more teams. That being a Doomfist, Genji, Soldier 76, Ana, and Lucio comp, and a counter comp, Doom, Sombra, some hitscan, Ana, and Brig have also popped up. This is another interesting one. I think all of the top teams can perform well on this one, but this lends itself more to Toronto, Boston, and New York's playstyle, as well as all the top 4. There's also been reports of a Diva Sigma 2 hitscan heroes Zenyatta and Baptiste comp, not outpioneered by Houston and Shock, but it's more noted that the meta is more fluid and map dependent. All of these comps are stronger on some maps more than the others. This has led to a lot of teams stealing maps when they really shouldn't. For example, Dallas could just be dominating most maps on their Doom Genji comp, but then getting on like King's Row and getting stomped by Washington Rush. It'll be interesting to see, and it makes the game much more exciting. For the individual teams, starting with Dallas, they are obviously very strong. They are in the quote-unquote stable coin tier, where they are on lock for having insane talent and are the main teams pushing for the title. In fact, all these teams are. They had a slow start due to the traveling to Texas, but quickly rose to the top of the ranks, especially due to Rush being unable to miss and having great strategic games. As for standout players, Hanbin has put himself on the watch for MVP even over Fearless and Scrims, as he is playing out of his mind, as expected. Next, the Gladiators. They have continued to be a strong team, with all of their members performing. Patafan especially has dispelled the rumors of him being trash by apparently performing very well, and continuing to improve massively. It's also important to note that his SR has risen too, so we should have a good amount of proof to say that he'll be at least a solid performer next season. I'm really hyped for him. Next, the Reign. They have also continued to be his top team, with Ultraviolet and OG landing fully in the team and having really strong showings, fully integrating with the team. Kai and Hawk are also standout players. Kai making a play for best hitscan in the league apparently, and being the best Sojourn in the league from early on. And many leakers were apparently surprised by Hawk's flexibility. As a Hawk believer, I can definitely rejoice. The man is a god and will pound next year. Finally, the Shock round out the 4 in this tier. Proper has apparently lived up to the hype and more, competing with the best of the best on Tracer, Genji, Hanzo, and several other heroes, with many people with inside info saying he'll easily be making a push for MVP this season. They also say that Kilo has come out as a star player, rounding out the Shock and making them one of the best DPS duos in the league. The only issue here is Violet, though calling him an issue might be taking it a bit too far. The prominence of Lucio in the meta, Violet has had to practice a lot of Lucio, and it's been described as only passable. And while this hasn't dropped him out of the top 4 yet, at least for Yiska, many people think Violet will have to step up in order to cover everything for the Shock to succeed. So that's all the news for today. It's more or less what people expected. The top 4 now is pretty much everyone's top 4 heading into next year already. Proper, Kilo, Kai, and Hanbin are all predictably correct, and it's very nice to hear about Hawk and Patafan being potential star players. With Patafan back on the board, it's easier for Glads to make a push for the best in NA. But Shock is a bit worrying now with Violet. I had some copium that they'd sign Moth, but it doesn't seem likely. We'll have to see how well Violet does as a hyperflex. Overall, this doesn't change my power rankings, though. This is all about what I expected heading into next season. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe for more. I upload nearly daily Overwatch League content, and I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks!